Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe Theodore, and it's an honor to be here with you today. I hope you're doing well. So, my friends, welcome to the October conversation. Welcome to this October forecast. I'm going to do my best to kind of just get to the point, and we will cruise through this the best that we can. It's a crazy month, guys. It's an intense month, I would say. And we need to buckle up, I would say, Now, when I say buckle up, I kind of, you know what it is? When I come into these forecasts, I'm already kind of knowing what I'm seeing on the world stage. And I don't want to bring world stuff into the YouTube channel. I want to really keep this to the psycho-spiritual as much as I can. I want to keep it to the most intuitive guidance I can give you for what can be going on in your own life, right? As humans, right? Like, what is this human psychological, spiritual, what is the symbolism, in those dimensions? And that's really what I hope to always bring to the YouTube channel versus some other social media outlets I have, where maybe I get a little deeper into world events. But that being said, if you are a new viewer, welcome. Consider subscribing to the channel. Anyone who is watching this right now, it takes literally a second. Hit the like button, okay? Please, for the love of God, because it really helps the algorithm, my friends. And a lot of, you know what's crazy? I'm noticing a lot. I don't know if I said this in a recent video. A lot of people have been subscribing to the channel because of my Scorpio moon video. And I think my Aquarius moon video is now starting to trend a little bit with the algorithm. And it's wild because I say to myself all the time, like, my God, how many Scorpio moons follow me now? So, I mean, if you're one of these Scorpio moons out there that have been that found me through the Scorpio moon video, let me know, I guess. You don't have to let me know, but it's just wild to think, wow, man, there's so many Scorpio moons that follow me now. It's crazy. And I'm a Scorpio rising. So what's up, guys? But that being said, yeah, subscribe to the channel if you're new, my friends. Leave me a like. Drop a comment if you would like. I think it's brilliant when we all sort of share our astrological experiences with each other. There could be something I speak about today. You could be going through something completely opposite. Or just explain how it could be manifesting for you. Tell us what house topic one of these things could be falling in for you, and just share, if you want to. No pressure, no pressure. I just think when it comes to astrology YouTube channels, it's always nice to learn from people in the comments. And some comments are actually hilarious too. So I love the amount of humor in the world. So that being said, my friends, welcome to the video. Welcome to the October conversation forecast. My evolutions with the channel here have definitely shifted and changed, just to say briefly as well, from maybe a couple of months ago. Obviously, those of you who have been with me, you've maybe have seen my evolution of how much I used to post to now really posting maybe on Sundays. I'm going to hopefully do a new series. I think I'm going to do a rising sign series next after this moon series I wrapped up about a month or so ago. But yeah, my friends, we have a Libra eclipse here, right? And what made me think of a couple of months ago and how much I've grown a little bit here with the YouTube channel, I started this channel under the solar eclipse in Aries. So now we're coming to the solar eclipse in Libra. We're flipping the script. So now Libra gets activated. So what's your Libra story, my friends? And what's interesting about this eclipse is, yes, we're flipping the script. We're having a birthing, right? Solar eclipses to me are portals that are extremely powerful. They reveal something to us, but not like a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse reveals something to us that was once hidden, in my opinion. And there's so many examples on the world stage that kind of got blown open, by the way, with that Pisces lunar eclipse. But solar eclipses are birthings, and they reveal something intense. And that Libra part of your life is going to get activated. just like in Aries. I'm sure all of you can recall what the Aries solar eclipse did in April. And for me, it was a massive birthing. It was a massive course correction in my life. And it had all to do with something I needed to do for myself, my identity, right? I kind of had like an awakening around what I should do in one area of my life, right? And I really had to step into some self-empowerment, and I had to really move forward and take action, Aries, take action to make way for some new potential in my life to come into being. And it did. So for Libra, we're dealing with the opposite in a way. Well, not the opposite, but we're dealing with interconnectivity. We're dealing with socialization potentially. We're dealing with making things calm and okay, and let's all be friends, right? Like, let's all, love each other. And yes, there's a shadow side to this, which we are definitely seeing play out in the world stage. And again, I don't want to get into any Israel, Middle East stuff, but what's interesting about this solar eclipse, and I'll just say this bare minimum, Benjamin Netanyahu was born under a solar eclipse in Libra. And we are seeing an escalation of war over there. So that's an interesting case study, bit of astrology research. It's like, oh shit. Well, he's having a solar eclipse return in a way, and escalation of war like we haven't seen in a long time, So again, all these transits are so unique. And October 2nd, the solar eclipse in Libra will happen at 10 degrees. And what's crazy about this month, my friends, is that the sun in Libra, starting from this eclipse moment, will be forming a T-square to Mars in Cancer and Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn. Now, this is extremely important to keep in mind. And honestly, there's not really much going on in October that's like super highlighted specific. Like, I think I have like 5 or so transits here that I really want to talk about. And this one is huge because the Cancer part of our life with Mars is going to be very, very activated. Squares from the sun, Libra, to Cancer. Right? And then the sun will be forming squares to 29 degrees Capricorn, right? Pluto, which we're all wrapping up a little bit of extra karma maybe from our insane life story that was Pluto and Capricorn. And some of us may not be feeling that extra karma kind of, working itself out. I feel like I'm on the up and up. I kind of had a rough ingress in the beginning of the September, but things are doing all right now. But now I'm in a territory where the sun, as the Libra sun gets deeper and deeper into its late degrees, as the sun keeps going in Libra, the more intense the more intense the squares to Pluto will be, and the more intense the squares to Mars will be. Okay, because we have a T-square going on, triangle, upside down triangle, or another, a triangle, right? T-square. So the more and more the month days go on, the stronger these squares get. And then Mars will be making oppositions to Pluto, right? Because Mars will just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into the 20s of Cancer by the end of the month. And those oppositions will stay very, very strong. The sun will get to Scorpio by October 23rd. So just imagine, up until October 23rd, the sun will be squaring Mars and Pluto the entire month. So we have to track what is Libra, for you, Capricorn and Cancer. We're dealing with a lot of breakdowns and breakthroughs. We're dealing with a lot of challenge for some of us. I got to be real with you. There could be elements of challenge and intensity, frustration, Mars and Cancer. Again, I mean, you probably know what's manifesting there already. And this is definitely serious energy. This is not a walk in the park. Now, Libra, the sun being in Libra might be pleasant, this could be pleasant after this lunar eclipse. The solar eclipse. I think whatever the solar eclipse story for you might set in motion whatever these squares might be throughout the rest of the month. So I think this solar eclipse is really going to be a massive activation point for how Mars and Pluto behave together. But on the world stage, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little worried. But in each and every one of our lives, we all have different karma. We all have different stories, right? Some people are doing very well for themselves. Some people just started businesses probably in the world somewhere, and they're doing very well for themselves. And again, I think squares, very intense squares like this, and oppositions from Pluto to Mars, just as explosive they could be on the world stage. And I do feel we're going to see a lot of escalation of war, literal explosive events. But again, on the political campaign trail, we could probably see a lot of stuff get amplified, of course. But for us, these can be very invigorating transits. Like a Mars opposite Pluto, like we can use that to take over the world if we want to, like will something be tough to get to something beautiful? Yeah, probably. Like, I'm just getting a vision now of a busy coffee shop for some reason. Sometimes these visions just pop in my head, guys. But it's like, if you were working in a busy cafe during a holiday, right? And I used to work in cafes back in the day. So maybe that's why the vision's coming to me. We would kill ourselves. You would kill yourself. But you knew that the tips were going to be freaking great, right? So again, Pluto opposite Mars, major intensity transformation. Oh my God. Like, yeah, we're killing ourselves. We're making customers happy though, but still we're like going through a really transformative, intense moment here. And the reward is a reward. We broke through the other side and we got tips now, like really good tips. And holidays are always the best in the food industry. Everyone should know that. And tip your bartender, tip your barista, by the way. So, we just have to track and see what's going on in those parts of our lives, guys. Cancer, we're dealing with the emotions. We're dealing with, Mars wanting to play havoc with maybe our emotional system. Maybe we're going to be able to take actions in a very emotional way, and that could be good or bad sometimes, right? So, and I think the retrograde anticipation for the future, the winter, that Mars retrograde is going to come fly through Cancer, and, we're going to have to be ready for that. We have to be ready for that and see what happens. And then Libra, air sign. And Capricorn, we all know what Capricorn's all about. So that should be very interesting, my friends. Now, Jupiter will go retrograde October 8th. I've spoken about this before. This might be very welcomed for a lot of us because I think Jupiter and Gemini season and just Gemini transits, generally speaking, throughout the summer, were generally really activated. And for some of us, I think that was great activation. I could speak for myself. I loved Mars in Gemini. I loved it with Jupiter. It really put wind in my sails, and it really made me so much more clear in a lot of things that psychologically I had, because my 8th house is Gemini. I have my moon in Chiron there. Jupiter has been adding some positive flow to my life there. I'm not going to lie. And Mars put a lot of wind in my sails. Mars gave me a lot of mental stimulation that I was able to channel and use in really brilliant ways. I feel I actually got a lot more psychic too, guys. And and those of you who've been following me, how I've discussed, my psychicness before. And it's, I don't know. I feel like I just sort of I didn't fine tune anything, but I felt I was able to absorb a lot of stuff, and instead of freaking out and my brain going wild, I was able to sort of just be very fluid with how I was able to grab information. And it really enhanced my work. I feel like I have had more clients than ever with astrology, so that's been really wonderful. And just to plug, I guess, my website, joetheodore.com, links down below. If you'd like to book a reading with me, I have a whole new scheduling system where you can schedule yourself a reading. And I do have Saturday readings available now for anyone who's not available during the week. But I've been getting, again, that Gemini 8th house story for me, you know, just helping people in a very psychological way. My Chiron is there. So I always knew a part of my mission in life was to offer just other people, like my healing that I've needed to do with my 8th house stories. I knew at some point in my life, and I have other aspects that are very powerful for like service to other type of works, type of work. And for me, the Gemini brought so much brought other people to me, more connectivity with others as well, you know? And so this retrograde, guys, personally, I think I might need it. And you guys might need it too. I think Gemini needs to cool off a little bit because there's not going to be really any aspects to Gemini that are like super, I don't really think any other aspects going to Jupiter. I mean, there probably is. For this forecast, I only stuck to the big ones. But Jupiter going retrograde, again, if you have personal planets or any planets that this is affecting, this might just slow down maybe some of the efficiency, obviously, of what those planets are. It may, and again, whatever your story is in Gemini, this may slow things down, right? And we're going to kind of be slowed down until February. And there might be some teaching and lessons in there too. So again, Jupiter's the teacher. We might learn some stuff. I'm sure we're going to learn some stuff. So, yeah, my friends. And then Pluto goes direct in Capricorn, October 12th. So this is the final push to Pluto in Aquarius, my friends. And that is going to take place mid-November, right? So this is the final stretch. We are ramping things up. We are moving forward. So I think a lot of the reason why maybe a lot of us felt and probably still feel reactivation so heavily with the Pluto re-ingress back into Capricorn is because, of course it was a retrograde motion. But once we go direct now, I feel like it's like, okay, the engines are back on. Let's move. We're done with the old. We're done with the old now. Let's move into the new future. Because the new future is what it's all about. October 14th, Venus in Scorpio goes opposite Uranus and Taurus. That should be interesting. Venus in Scorpio has been very interesting and I think intense for a lot of us. So, yeah, we're talking about the Venusian. We're talking about the pleasures of life. We're talking about money. We're talking about love and connection. And we're talking about the depth and intensity of Scorpio. So maybe a lot of serious conversation and things around deep connection and intimacy has been in the in the forefront. Hard conversations, really getting to the bottom of things that might be difficult. And going opposite Uranus and Taurus, we could be talking about sudden things occurring with that energy, with those circumstances. October 17th, Aries full moon. Okay. So we just wrapped up a solar eclipse in Libra. Aries full moon is the next logical lunation cycle, right? The last time we had some kind of an Aries lunar event that was big was the solar eclipse in Aries. So I feel maybe some stuff that was activated back then with Chiron might get reactivated, potentially. But again, full moons are revealings of things that were once hidden. So we can definitely expect things that were once hidden, or maybe something that we really need to know now, in this point in time, with all these other transits that are happening. This could be a moment for, again, an initiation, a revealing of something that will include very much our identity, but more so the identity within that house topic Aries is in, of course. October 18th, Venus goes into Sagittarius. So Venus is now out of exile in Scorpio into Sagittarius. I like Venus in Sagittarius, and I think we can definitely expect that part of our life to get very activated, involving connection to things that can provide us extra insight and wisdom, right? Think Jupiter. Venus might bring pleasure into things we wish to experience and seek out. And whatever part of your life that is what the focus will be on, of course. So coming out of Scorpio, we can definitely look forward to Venus in Sagittarius. By October 22nd, my friends, this is the height of the intensity of the T-square. Because remember from the beginning of the video, we were beginning a month-long journey of that intensity, those squares to Mars, right? So the sun will be at 29 degrees Libra, anaretic degree. Mars will be at 25 degrees Cancer at this point. So again, that square just gets stronger as the month goes on. And yes, Pluto is now direct at 29 degrees Capricorn. So that sun will be giving the most intense square of the entire month, October 22nd. So I feel anytime between October 17th through the 22nd, we are definitely going to see massive shit pop off in the world. And yes, in our life. Maybe this will be the most potent point for all of those parts of your life that have been getting activated, right? For whatever those experiences that are playing out. And excuse me, and the Mars opposition to Pluto will also be the strongest. Okay. But honestly, Mars has a couple of more days, about a week of a Mars Pluto opposition to go, because Mars won't get into Leo until literally, I think November 2nd or 3rd. So that Pluto Mars opposition is going to be extremely activated as we get towards the end of October into November. So we could talk more about that at a later date. Obviously, every Sunday at this point, I put out a video. And as time goes on, we'll talk more about this. I will share with you what I'm seeing for myself in my life. And, of course, just based upon the people I talk to, we'll just, I have to see how everybody else deals with these transits, of course. October 23rd, the sun goes into Scorpio. So Scorpio season begins. And then really the last two things I have is October 28th and October 30th, Venus in Sagittarius squares Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And then October 30th, Mercury in Scorpio goes opposite Uranus in Taurus. So we had Venus do that a couple of weeks prior. Now October 30th is when Mercury does it. So going from that Venusian unexpected, whatever communication that opposition wants to bring us, whatever experience that opposition wants to bring us, from the Venusian in Scorpio in exile to Uranus in Taurus, again, I feel like that's going to be that Venus opposition is going to be more tense than I think the Mercury one. I think the Mercury one is going to have a lot to do with, again, some mental shock or some very, very possibly intense communication issues, right? So we have to be ready for that. We have to be ready for Mercury to get all Scorpio and deep and intense. But this also could be a very good time to really get to the bottom of things, and I think that's going to be something potentially very revealing with Uranus, So I think there's going to be a lot that gets revealed to us in a very sudden, shocking way. And that will include whatever your Taurus story has been about, but definitely what's going on in Scorpio. And it may or may not have something to do with the Venus transit, right? And the sun will also be involved with this this Mercury Scorpio story. Because literally the sun will already be relatively close to Mercury, I believe. The sun will be pretty close to Mercury at this point by the end of October. So my friends, I think that's all for today. I think I hit everything I really wanted to cover. I hope that my insight today provides you with some information that could be useful. Once again, please share what you think, what you're anticipating. As time goes on, if you would like to come back to this video and share anything, please do. And yeah, please consider supporting the channel, subscribing. Again, like the video if you didn't already. And if you'd like to connect with me more on a personal level, my number one joy in this life, and really where I get to shine, in my opinion, is when I do readings with people. So it would be a pleasure to meet you. And yeah, hope you're doing well, and I'll see you next time.